Hey guys, what's up? Chris here with another Monster Hunter World video. And this one is particularly exciting because it's going to be about Greatsword. And I'm going to tell you guys about my impressions with the Greatsword in Monster Hunter World so far after like 60 minutes of Greatsword gameplay. I'm also going to do Q&A again, and man, I gotta say that you guys are killing it. Thanks for all the support, thanks for all the likes and the amazing comments, you guys. That's why I want to do Q&A again. I want to answer you guys questions, as many as I can, and I'm really sorry if I'm not able to answer all the questions. I don't even have all the answers to it too, so. Anyway, we have some cool new moves. First of all, before I begin, you will see me try to perform an overhead charge after a side slap a lot. And that is because I was playing one quest with Greatsword on a different setup before, and when I changed to the different PS4 setup where the capture card was attached to be able to record my gameplay, suddenly the controls were a bit different. So pulling down the analog stick while charging to be able to perform an overhead charge didn't work anymore. While actually it does work in Monster Hunter World with the right control settings. But I didn't want to bother with these settings since I had a very limited time recording the gameplay. But that's basically why I didn't manage to perform an overhead charge, because I was trying to figure out how to do it. So don't expect the best Greatsword gameplay here. Expect it soon though. It's not gonna take long until the game comes out. I promise you we're going to see some crisp Greatsword gameplay soon. Greatsword has some new changes. First of all, what you're going to see every time before you perform an overhead charge, you will do this sort of like body check. I don't know how much damage it deals yet, but it essentially indicates that you can perform an overhead charge afterwards. Then there is another alternative hit that can be done after the body check, which looks like this. I don't really know how good it is yet, but it's always nice to have more options. Then we also have an alternative for the finisher hit, which was firstly introduced in for Ultimate, and I love to use that move, but yes, finally, we can also do something else now, should we want to. And it works like that. After a normal charge, you can do either the side slap or the swing, and both of these allow you to either use, again, a normal charge or a body check, which chains into an overhead charge. Previously, after the overhead charge, we only had the option to either evade out of the combo or use the final finisher slash by pressing the Nintendo X button. That button has the same position as the triangle one from PlayStation, but the finisher move now is executed by pressing the circle button, which was the former Nintendo A button equivalent. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but basically the finisher button moved to the circle button next to it. But why is that so, you may ask yourself? It's because the triangle button, which was the Nintendo X one, now got a brand new move, which I like to call double hit loop finisher. It's a pretty crazy name, but that's what I'm gonna call it for now until I know the official name. And this one looks absolutely stunning, and it basically lets you either perform it charged or uncharged depending on how much time you actually have. I could imagine that this is the strongest DPS combo for Greatsword in Monster Hunter World. Normal charge, side slap, body check, overhead, and double hit loop finisher. Of course, what you can also do, and what I used a lot here in this gameplay, because the overhead after side slap wasn't possible with these control settings, are two different combos too. The first one is chaining a side slap onto your evade roll, and then going into an overhead and so on. It basically works the same way it always has. And the second one is blocking and kicking and then going into a side slap and overhead and so on. Both of them work exactly the same like they used to. But of course, you could also do the infinite level 3 charge combo as long as you want. What's also new is you can now change the direction in which you charge while charging. And speaking about the charge timing, it's pretty similar to 3 Ultimate and 4 Ultimate and Generation, so you want to release the button at the right time to land a level 3 hit. If you don't do it, then you're gonna end up with a weaker version of it. If it equals the damage of a level 2 hit, remains unknown. That has to be tested yet when the beta launches. Alright, I think that's about the Greatsword and all the new moves. I'm still gonna have to get used to it a little bit. The overall feeling of the Greatsword is a bit different, but I'm down for some changes. And I'm really curious to find out more about the actual damage those moves deal in Monster Hunter World, and to see what is used best in each individual scenario. Expect to see more in-depth videos about Greatsword and how to get the most out of it after launch in January. So let's get to the Q&A part of this video. Chris asks, what is the main difference between this game and the previous 3DS titles? I mean, there are a lot of differences, but the most important one in my opinion is 240p is finally gone. Thank God, it was about time. We finally enjoy 1080p or even 4K on the Xbox One X. That's awesome. Carrie Pang asks, does barbecue music still exist? Yeah, it exists. They just changed the timing a little bit. Dan asks, how would you feel if Rathian or Deviljho were added as DLC? I would be super happy, but very sad at the same time, because I love doing Rathian and Deviljho so much, so only being able to hunt them during short events would be a pain. Julius asks, will you create a squad and hunt with random squad members regularly? Yeah, I will create a Team Darkside guild, but the problem is like it can only 50 people can join, so I'm gonna have to find a way to deal with that. Maybe I'm gonna let people join who watch our streams and support them being VIP subscribers, but I don't know yet. And we're going to stream 3 to 4 times per week when World is out, so I'm really psyched for that. You guys have to hang out with us sometime. Zergs asks, are the 3 big monsters on the map random, or is Rathalos, for example, every time on the Ancient Forest? Like for the demo, yes. The beta will always have the same 3 big monsters on the maps. So like 2 maps and 6 big monsters in total. But that's not going to be the case for the full version. The full version has more than 3 monsters that can be on the Ancient Forest. The ones that are confirmed at this point are Great Jagras, Puke Puke, Tobikadachi, Rathalos, Anjanath, and Kuliaku. We have like 6 monsters that are confirmed to be on the Ancient Forest, and then we also have Rathian confirmed for this game. However, I'm pretty sure that it's like unknown if she will be on the Ancient Forest or not at this point. So we have only 6 confirmed monsters for the Ancient Forest so far, and that should like answer your question by itself. You're not gonna have the same monsters on the same maps every time. It's gonna be different. Young Turkish Man asks, so how does the weight of the movement and attacks of the weapons feel from your experiences? Have some weapons lost a sort of a punch that you would see in previous titles? Most weapons feel really great in World. I need to get used to Greatsword though, but I think I'm gonna have to wait for the full version and turn on blood in the settings to be able to say something about the punchiness. But I do want to say that it's good to go a step back in the more realistic direction after Double Cross, because in my opinion it was a bit too punchy. It felt almost like Frontier at times. Grellison asks, will there be separate servers for PS4, Xbox and PC? I hope they are shared, but I guess there's no way, right? Yeah, me too. I wish they shared the servers between all the platforms, but I can't really see it happening, you know? I think Xbox or Microsoft with Phil Spencer, they really try to go in the right direction and push things like that forward, but I think Sony has a different opinion about that topic. But what's cool is that we will be able to cross-play with people all across the globe. So while we don't have cross-play between the different parties like PlayStation and Xbox and PC, we will be able to play, however, with like from Europe, with American fellow hunters, or with hunters from Japan on the PlayStation. That's pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. I was able to play with Japanese people in Double Cross too. That was awesome. I feel bad just to buy a PS4 only to play Monster Hunter World. Other PS4 games don't interest me at all. I definitely feel you, because I bought so many consoles only for Monster Hunter. It just comes down to it how long you can wait actually, because if you have a PC, maybe you have one that can run Monster Hunter World, and if you can wait until summer, then you should do that. But if money doesn't matter for you or you have too much money, then you might as well just get a PS4 or an Xbox. Hamlet asks, as someone who has none of the systems this game will be on, what would you guys recommend getting? I can't just go and say and like recommend something to you. I think it always depends, because different consoles have different positive and negative aspects. For example, the PlayStation 4 Pro will be cheaper than the Xbox One X, so if you don't want to spend so much money, just get the PlayStation. However, if you want the maximal performance for your system, if you want to enjoy Monster Hunter on the best graphics settings, then get the Xbox One X. But that's not everything. It also depends what your friends are playing on. If your friends are playing on Sony or Microsoft, you might choose based on that factor. And I do want to say that there are other nice games aside from Monster Hunter that might be exclusive to one of the parties. And if you're like, for example, you want to get Bloodborne and it only comes out on a PlayStation, so factor in those things too. And lastly, the beta would be something to keep in mind, because the beta will only be accessible to PlayStation Plus members. I don't know if this is a big deal for you, because you're getting the console solely for this game anyway, but it will still be a nice opportunity for you to be able to play the demo or to be able to try out the game for a couple days before it launches. Google knows everything. Man, you guys are killing it with the names lately. What monster do you think will return? Maybe they're gonna implement Uragan, because we have Radoban already and they have similar animations. Maybe once we have the volcano reveal trailer, but I don't know. And I would also love to see another Elder Dragon, no matter if it's a new one or a returning one. Because in an interview they said it's gonna be more Elder Dragons than just one. At this point I think we have 2 Elder Dragons confirmed, which is Zora Magdaros, the final boss, so to say, from low rank, and then also Nergigante, which is apparently another Elder Dragon. And then, since they said there's going to be more than one, the question remains, are there going to be 2 Elder Dragons, or 3, or 4, or how many will there actually be? I really honestly hope there will be at least one more, so let's just wait for the next trailers that will be out soon, hopefully. Where they're gonna show a volcano or an Arctic map, most likely, and we're gonna see some more monsters there. Hokage asks, do you think that they will bring G-rank monsters in Monster Hunter World? I don't think they will, because we haven't seen any Monster Hunter games with a G-rank that started a new generation. For example, the original Monster Hunter game didn't have G-rank. Monster Hunter DOS, Tri, 4, and Generations, which was basically half, maybe like half a generation. All of those games started a new generation. They didn't have G-rank. So if they decide to bring G-rank, it would be the first time, but I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't G-rank. However, I don't think that's a problem at all. I can already see all the comments here from you guys, but G-rank is much better. I can only tell you guys from my experience. I played Monster Hunter Tri for 2,000 hours. It was the Monster Hunter game I spent the longest time in Endgame, and it didn't even have G-rank, okay? It had the lowest number of monsters, and it didn't have G-rank. So those factors are just one thing. What's way more important, in my opinion, is to have a decent online mode. And a decent online mode was in the 3rd generation. Well, however, the 3DS struggled because it was limited due to its low specs. Now with the current gen consoles, we really have a chance to see a nice online mode, and as far as what we've seen from the trailers so far, it really looks promising. It really looks to be like a really amazing online mode, and that's what we need to be able to enjoy this game with Endgame. And if we want G-rank, then just wait like 1 more year or 1.5 years. I don't know how long it takes for them to maybe make a follow-up game from this title, a possible Monster Hunter World Ultimate title or whatever they call this, and we're gonna see G-rank. I'm pretty sure it's not the last time we see G-rank. I'm really sure they're still gonna implement it at some point. I just don't think it will happen with this game. But still, I think it's way more exciting to have so many new things in this game, so many things that changed, so many things that were improved. G-rank is basically the same thing. As long as they manage to provide a decent endgame with high rank, what they will be able to with this game, then I'm fully satisfied. Kiosk asks, did the controls feel smoother or more complex than the previous Monster Hunter games? They feel smooth, but it also highly depends on what monitor or TV you're using, in my opinion, since like you want to have low input lag and low response times to have a smooth and responsive experience. Apex Gamer asks, can you access your object, armor, and weapon boxes in the wild base camps? As for example, you use 7 mega potions while Rathalos, but you want to farm more, can you just go back to the base camp and get new ones, or switch your weapon and armor? And second, are whetstones now unlimited, or is this a special version? No, this is not a special version. Whetstones are unlimited, and you're not gonna have to bring them with you ever again. They don't even take away 1 additional slot in your pouch. Same goes for pickaxes and bugnets. That is really cool. And yes, you can access your object box to get more potions if you need, or you might as well need to make space to pick up new items without going back to Astera. So you want to just leave everything you don't need for the hunt anymore in the object box. And the armor and weapon box is accessible too. You can anytime change your gear during quests. Well, always remember, should you join your friends like later or too late for the party, then you're not gonna get the full reward anymore. I think it's nice that the game doesn't allow people to let themselves get carried. Aaron asks, do cats still bring you to the base camp when you die? Yes, they do. Alan asks, can you jump like in Generations? You can only jump with a few weapons like Insect Glaive and Lance with normal movesets, or you can use cliffs and ledges to perform jump attacks. But styles from Generations are gone, so no more aerial style. Only guild style is here, but that is better than ever before, so you can look forward to it. Seth Crabtree asks, any word on a G rank or any endgame like Hyper, Apex or Variant monsters? I think it's unlikely to get special versions of these monsters. Having a nice variety of just cool monsters is all we need in this game, if you ask me. Well, in the beta we died 3 times when we fought Diablos together with Kanta, so I'm gonna let you judge about that. Isova asks, do dual blades feel as good as they have in the past games? I enjoyed playing dual blades even more than in previous games, yeah. And by far the coolest thing was when you run around while in the demon mode, because it literally looks like Naruto running around with the arms behind your back. It's so funny. Darko asks, does Heavy Bowgun feel less fun or less powerful than before? Well, if you compare it with Brave Pierce Heavy Bowgun, it certainly feels less powerful, but it seemed to have a good balance with the other weapons, which I think is important to enjoy the full variety of weapons the game offers. Is Heavy Bowgun no longer king of damage per second? We're gonna have to find out more about that soon. I'm sure me and my team will find ways to exploit weaknesses with all kinds of different weapons and make cool videos for you guys. So stay tuned for that when the game is out. Frank asks, how does mounting feel in Monster Hunter World? It's quite different in World. They already nerfed mounting with Generations since it was too good in 4 Ultimate, so they increased the number of hits it needs to start Je suis monté. Now with World, it has become easy again mounting monsters, just like in 4 Ultimate, but that has a reason, because they still change mounting in other ways. Now, since there's no more aerial style, other than like Insect Glaive, which basically is guild and aerial style combined, you will find fewer people jumping around than in Generations. Also, the mounting animation is way longer itself. It feels like they doubled the time to mount monsters. During that time, however, you can attack the monster again if you're like one of the outsiders like in Generations. Mounting in this game feels like a nice mix between 4 Ultimate and Generations. And I think it's also a tad easier to successfully pull off the mount. So prepare yourself for Je suis monté. Guys, I really hope they kept the Je suis monté as a default shoutout for French. That would be hilarious. Tortue Genial asks, should we wait for the PC game for more frames per second? I mean, it depends if you already have one of the current gen consoles or not, in my opinion. If you have a decent PC but no Xbox or PS4, you might as well just watch Team Darkside's Monster Hunter World videos to get your weekly dose of Monster Hunter madness, while you save your bucks and get the PC version later. I read a lot of comments from you guys that you are questioning the quality of the PC version. While I don't have an official statement about it, I do want to mention that Capcom didn't say when it's going to come out yet. So it's probably not coming out before summer 2018 or anytime soon. That being said, such a delayed PC release might be because Capcom really wants to deliver a polished and optimized PC version of this game. If they were to release the PC version shortly after the console versions, we would have known at this point. Since it's a little over 2 weeks until the beta launches and some people already start buying their Xbox or PlayStation in order to play Monster Hunter World, I really think they would have said it at this point. And I think we're gonna hear more about the release date a few weeks after the console launch date. As for myself, I'm gonna start playing on the PS4, but I'm most likely gonna switch to PC as soon as I can, since I only have a normal PS4 and my PC can handle the game at 1080p 60, and I'm going to be able to have a much smoother experience on my PC. And also because I would like to have the best quality possible for the videos you guys are watching. But more of the topic in the next video, where I'll be analyzing the footage I have which was running on a PS4 Pro, and I'm going to compare that with the confirmed information that's out there already. So stay tuned for that next week on the channel. I hope you enjoyed the information, the gameplay, and the Q&A, and I'm gonna see you guys soon with more Monster Hunter World in a few days. Until then, my name is Chris, I'm from Team Darkside, and I catch you guys on the next one.